Every once in a while, we make mistakes. Dakota made a mistake when he thought he could beat me in Mario Kart for a live giveaway. Joke's on him, took the dub. Mario made a mistake when he shaved his beard by accident and went back to looking like a 10-year-old. So I made the mistake of making a So You Want video with the 370Z without talking about like the other one, the one that a lot of people actually own. So we're back to a time of slow, slopey lines, thick with the 2 C's versus the angry parallelograms of today. We're here to talk about a naturally aspirated V6 that sounded okay. I'm Alex at FI on Instagram, and today's episode of So You Want, we're talking about the car that I wanted in high school, the car that is now one of the go-to cars for the drifting scene, one of the go-to cars that just is good to just buy in case you just wanted to have a fun summer car and gets you all the followers on Instagram. We're talking about it, ladies and gentlemen, the Nissan 350Z. And of course, if you're already beginning to type your trombone jokes, don't forget to subscribe so we can keep making banging videos like this. And if you're looking to pick up wheels, tires, or suspension for your newly acquired 350Z or otherwise, check out fitmentindustries.com. I just noticed I have toothpaste on my pants. You guys are looking to win a free build. You might get a little bit of crap for saying build, but we're giving away a free set of Cosmos wheels, a free set of Michelin tires, and a free coilover set from Silver Suspension. We're doing a full wheel, tire, and suspension giveaway. All you have to do is check out the description link below, pick up one of these sweatshirts. It'll get you automatically entered to win everything. And of course, we'll be making a donation as well. So we're actually super stoked. This is the biggest one we've ever done, and now we're gonna get into it. So when we talked about my mistakes and mistakes past, we're here to talk about the 350Z, because the 350Z would be the 5th generation Z car and was produced from 2002 to 2009. The 350Z was initially a car to grow and expand on the success while minimizing the failures of the 300ZX, because that was a big boy. And although you got farther into the years of Nissan's million trim level marketing scheme, it really only entered the market with only a coupe. There was no Targa or anything like that. You'd see these cars come in the good old roadster variant, but we don't really talk about that because it's a roadster. In its conception, the 350Z had some serious shoes to fill. After the death of the 300ZX, Nissan really didn't have a strong plan to fill its shoes. Kind of like firing your A-list actor and not knowing what to do afterwards. Their first attempt at it was to bring back the legendary 240Z, which is still one of my favorite cars. And if Brand Untitled can't fix their ZL1, I'm taking the motor out of the ZL1 and I'm putting it into a Datsun. Anyway, the initial prototype was shown to everyone, including Yutaka Katayama, the father of the Z. Now, spoiler alert, he did not like the concept at all, and they would go back to the drawing board to go full retro / synthwave on the platform because that was popular at the time. But Nissan didn't like the idea, and they just eventually scrapped that one too. So now, while Nissan touts that this initial discussion of a new 240Z was actually just a marketing strategy, I wouldn't put it past them to legitimately think that that Jaguar-looking boy was cool until Yutaka hit it with a denial stick, because I'm not sure if you know this, very large companies aren't actually very good at figuring out what consumers want. Eventually, Diane Allen would come into frame to bring a new design to the 350Z using the 240Z concept model as, quote, some inspiration to come out with the 350Z. And boy, at the time, and still to this day, one could say it looks really good. The car would be released with the million trim model Mayhem, which still is very confusing. Base, which had absolutely nothing. You had the Enthusiast trim, which came with nothing, but also traction control, a VDS, and cruise control. Performance came with nothing, but also had some wheels, a rear spoiler, some better brakes, and VDC. And Touring was the fancy one with all the power internals, the heated seats, the leather, the nice headlights, the ones that would probably go to the inevitable 45-year-old that was having a midlife crisis but didn't want to buy a core. The car would get some makeup halfway through its life with a slightly revised engine, blue headlights versus the yellow bulbs, and some other noteworthy differences that you'd probably want to pick up if you were looking for one. 2006 plus. The more you know. The car would enter every form of motorsport that exists because it's Nissan, and Nissan has a Z platform, which means they got to do it all. So they had everything from Grand Am, they had JGTC, Super GT, with them replacing the Skyline GTR for Nissan's factory and customer teams in the Super GT class. Wow. Super Tycoon, British GT Championship, SCCA, and pretty much everything else. They had drifting, they had NASA, no, I'm not making that up, speed trials, and they even had open road racing. I'm pretty sure that's just called street racing. But anyway, overall, the 350Z had quite a few dollars put behind it originally for marketing. They had a lot of money, so most people loved it. And for the record, it did do quite well right out of the gate. It even won a few awards. Here they are.
The most significant vehicle of the year, 2 years running, Edmunds.com.
Not sure who uses that site anymore, but it still seems to be attached to absolutely everything.
Editor's Most Wanted, 2003, Edmunds.com.
Now, Most Wanted was a great Need for Speed game, and I'd highly recommend buying it if you haven't played it yet.
International Car of the Year, Most Sex Appeal Award for 2003, Road and Travel.
That is confusing and sounds like something that was made by mid-50s-year-olds that was single or recently divorced and just wanted to talk about sex.
Canadian Car of the Year.
Apparently Canadians still have cars.
2003 Automotive Journalists Associations of Canada.
In case you wanted to add more A's into an association language.
Best New Design, 2003 Automobile Journalists Association of Canada.
They're back with another award.
Driver's Choice Best Performance Car, 2003 Motor Week.
Now that one actually sounds pretty standard. Probably put that one up in the garage or even the living room.
Winner 12 Best Cars Under 30K Road and Track.
They also got it because they were an affordable car at the time.
Car of the Year, 2004 Top Gear magazine.
Top Gear has magazine, but it's not the Top Gear that I think we know, but I'm not too sure, so don't quote me.
Automobile of the Year, 2003 Automobile Magazine.
That seems pretty self-explanatory. But we're done with the history lesson because that's not what we're here for. If you wanted a history lesson, you'd come back to North High School where I spent a lot of my time just going to Hardee's and praying that I didn't have any homework. We've all spent time on Craigslist looking for coupe cars under 10,000 because they got a button for it. They got the little dollar amount. You click both, you hit enter, and you just pray something comes up. And it's fun. And what else are you supposed to do while you wait for your ramen to warm up because it's cold outside and there's snow on the ground and it's Halloween? Then randomly one day, 350Zs just took over the category by storm. And now you're here with me. So you want a Nissan 350Z? Well, put down the Monster Energy and grab your headlight restorer because we're gonna be jumping into this car that I like to say is pretty dang good, I would say. The first thing to remember is that when you're buying this car, you're buying it for the exterior, its platform performance, and because it's actually just a good deal. The interiors are not where you want to have a fine-tooth comb, and they're not exactly where you're gonna see the value of these cars. In addition, it's important to know which one to pick up, and honestly, it depends on what you're looking for. So you have the DE and HE engine platforms, with the DE being slightly more modifiable, but the HRs being better just straight out of the gate. Depending on how much you wanna throw at it, when I say throw at it, I mean money, it's gonna depend on which one you wanna get. However, most would recommend staying away from the rev-up engines as they absolutely chug oil because it's a Nissan and it's just what they do. The cars are extremely well known for their aftermarket community with monster channels like Z Society or Z-Society or Zoe-Society and other platforms through IG, which helps fuel the community even more. Although the VQ platform has suffered from some exhaust drone issues, which is okay, people can make mistakes. That doesn't mean you can't make them sound good. It's just a lot more expensive, but you can make them fast and look proper. The wide wheel arches perfectly complement a wider setup of 3-piece or rotary forged wheels, which is beautiful. You don't have to always wide body cars. Air suspension makes these cars look even wider and they look fantastic on the ground. With some upgraded seats, HIDs, intake, exhaust, maybe a turbo or two. The cars are incredible to own and they're a blast to drive. That paired with the killer Z community that exists out there and you just can't go wrong. People buy them for drifting, they buy them for show cars, they buy them for swapping and turning them into garage builds that they inevitably never end up finishing. And they can do it all pretty practically without much issue. The platform is great. The Z platform has always been great for the garage enthusiast. Plus, that with a banging price point makes them an easy car to snap up, as long as you can give it some love. Because most of these cars have not had a calm nor peaceful life. They were driven like a high schooler that stole one. They look a little bit rough. Mostly all of them are gonna have faded headlights or faded tail lights or bumpers popping off or plastics peeling off, and you just gotta deal with that. It's rear wheel drive, it's got killer steering, 2 seats, it's a Z car. It's not as expensive as a 370Z, but it's not as old as a 300ZX. And in our eyes, it's a car that should and can be welcomed by pretty much anyone that enjoys a car that can be used, played with, and changed without immediately breaking down. You're just gonna check some of the weird things about it, like the rear trunk struts that are probably blown, the head struts that are probably blown, the fact that oil drips everywhere, the fact that they don't sound super good, the fact that people just don't take care of them. So hopefully we stop getting bullied for skipping past the 350Z and our 370Z video, but if there's another car that you'd like to see us cover, be sure to drop that below, so you can stop being so angry. And if you're looking for aftermarket wheels, tires, or suspension, be sure to hit up fitmentindustries.com. And if you just want to, pick up wheels and say, hey, I'd take another set of wheels too, we're giving away free wheels, free tires, and free suspension with picking up one of these sweatshirts. So check the description link below. Also, we're gonna be at SEMA, so shoot us a DM on Instagram if you'd like us to, I don't know. We may actually be back. I don't even know when this video goes up, in all honesty, but we're gonna be at SEMA, and if this goes up in time, we'll see you at SEMA, probably at the Acura booth. Anyway, I'm Alex from Fitment Industries. We will see you later. Peace.